Alright, welcome back to the garage. Now that Lucille is gone, she left me with a great big greasy spot in my heart and in my garage floor. She's packed away for the winter time. Now I've got to clean this all up. Look at all that junk. I've got junk everywhere, all kinds of stuff there. I want to go through my shelving over here, kind of open this up, take an inventory, clean everything up, try and get everything ready so I can pull the Camaro back out and start working on it. So let's get cracking on cleaning up this mess. All right, the treasure trove of Camaro parts is now open. Cleaning stuff out here, just kind of clean it up a little bit, seeing what I got. I'll show you. I'll take you along for the ride. All right, first on the inventory list is a set of, I believe these are Oldsmobile Rally wheels, probably late 70s model. Also some shocks that came off the Camaro. So work my way up here. It's a Borg-Warner Super T10 four-speed transmission. Take a look there. I picked this up shortly after I got the Camaro because I definitely wanted to switch it over to being a manual. But as you can see, it came out of like a 78 Camaro, I think. But it's got the shifter linkage and everything, the bell housing, flywheel and clutch already put together. Throw out clutch fork. But I think I'd like to use a hydraulic clutch on this. It looks like a pretty beefy clutch. But we'll see. I've also got a bin of random parts, including the gas tank filler neck, the original master cylinder, various hoses, wind lace, tank mounting straps, fuel tank mounting straps. Got those in there. Let's see here. Up top, I've got the original trunk lid with the spoiler on it, which that thing's pretty ugly. We'll see that in a future episode. I've got a RS lower valence right there because I want to put an RS front end on this thing, as well as I've got a spoiler from another trunk lid that I picked up back a while ago. And then the piece de resistance is the air ride suspension. I was at the KMS car show, and I started talking to a guy with I think it was a 62 or 63 Nova on air ride. And he said, yeah, he was going to take the air ride out of it and asked me if I would be interested. And I said, yeah, I'd be interested in that for the right price. But it's got the shock waves. I think the rears will work on the Camaro. The fronts, however, will not. I will need to change those. Air tank, the air level sensors and control module, valve body, all the wiring and stuff, instructions, the air compressor, breakers, and the brains of the operation. And this is all mounted to a piece of metal that's glued to some plywood with some carpet underneath it. So that's kind of a sweet deal, I think. It's all together. The guy was super nice. Oh, he also threw in some of this. This is a high-grade leak detector. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, complete set is now mine. So more motivation to get working on this Camaro. I've also got a subframe over there that I picked up. The original's over here with the engine on it, still on the tires. I'll be pulling that out at some point as well. But first off, I think I want to do rust repair on this guy, finish this up. So I've got this rear deck filler panel here. See that? They welded it on there whenever they did that. They didn't do a great job. So that's not too bad. I can live with that. But as we get down across here, you'll see there's some holes rusted through it, and I don't know what the back side of this thing looks like. Let's see, there's focus. Or don't. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, see there's a hole there. There's some pretty good pitting along the windshield channel, and then you get down to this end over here. And it's roached out. It looks like somebody had repaired it or attempted to at some point, but whenever they put the quarters on, they just kind of fixed it up as best they could at the time, I guess, and threw it back on there. But I've got a new one of those. I'll probably pull this off and replace it, as well as there's a spot of rust on the roof over here, and the rockers need to be worked on. But we'll see how much of that we get to in this video. For now, I'm just cleaning up and stuff. Let's see here. The transmission here, it needs a yoke. So if anybody's got a yoke, I've heard that a Turbo 400 yoke will fit this. But anyway, if you got one, send it to me. Other than that, clean the stuff up, put it away, pull that guy out. Let's do that. All right, making lots of room for activities in here. I've got to move this Camaro over so that I can work on it, but I also want to put away my lawnmower and leaf blower. I've got a weed eater hanging out over there. They go up against the wall over there on a hook, so that means I've got to pull the engine, transmission, subframe, rear end, push it all that way so that I can hang that stuff up there, and then I'll have even more room. And then if I take my empties back, I'll have even more room. And then if I quit hoarding shit, I'd have even more room. Speaking of hoarding shit, so my father-in-law last summer he visited and he brought me this ammo container. Pretty sweet little old ammo container. I love these old boxes, just old shit. I love old shit. So, and if you like old shit too, you might like these treats. This is a sheet metal and hardwoods medium grit stripper. And it's actually just got little metal springs on it. Stick out there and you put it on a drill. Still in its original packaging. That was pretty cool. An assortment of odd wrenches and a nice leather pouch. Like, look at that thing. That thing's pretty mint. Then there's a set of easy outs. These are some pretty sweet easy outs too. Yeah, look at that. See how fine the teeth are on that? It's awesome. Still have the price tags on them. This one here got rounded off. But yeah, I think this one here was 47 cents back in the day. They came in a paper pouch, which I thought was really cool. Easy outs. Little crescent wrench, a little pair of needle nose pliers, a tool for, I assume this is for setting points on a points distributor. It's got some feeler gauges, cleaning brush, and a little kind of pick there. That's pretty cool. And then also, there was this little wooden box, which is a very old tap and die set. And I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, it's easy to get distracted whenever you're cleaning up. Okay, got all my garden stuff put away there. I took back all my empties, cleaned out the space a bit. I'm starting to hang these poly walls. They provide a little bit of insulation in the wintertime in here, so heater doesn't run continuously. While I've got space, I want to work on this workbench here. See how it's bowed in the middle? I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of bends down in the middle because 8 feet is just too long. So I'm going to throw a support in the middle of it, put another set of casters underneath it in the middle there. So I'm going to pull everything out of there, clean everything up real good, and then flip it over, do that. Okay, I got that reinforced. I just used some 2x3s because that's kind of what I had laying around. Just kind of put those up in there, up in behind that 2x4 and down in behind that 2x4 and put a caster on it. Both sides, then double stacked it so that the weight from the top is pushing down on top of this instead of on the screws. Anyway, now I've got to put all of this junk back in there. I've got just crap here. Put that back in there and then I'll do something else. Okay, I've just about got my winter workspace all set up here. Now, the reason that I put up these poly walls is so that I can open the door a little bit and evacuate the fumes and the dust and stuff out of here without having the heater on all the time during the winter because it's cold out there. I'm trying to keep the heat in, as well as it kind of keeps the dust out of this area over here, out of all my tools and stuff like that. If you look here, like, that's just over the summer where I didn't have the poly walls up. I was able to work with the door open and still got everything real dusty in here. So anyway, just trying to keep things clean. While I'm cleaning up everything, I ran across something cool that I wanted to show you guys real quick. And that's these support pieces here. I made these a few years ago. The bases are made out of 3-inch wide, 3/16 thick steel. I put a little foot on one of them so that they set level on level ground. Twist them open like that. There's a solid rod on the one, and then a hole drilled through this one. Whoa, if I can turn it up there. Yeah, a hole drilled and a piece of 1-inch square tubing that's 1/8 inch thick. slides down on top of it like that. Then I've got these upright bars, which these are 1.25 inches, and they slide right onto that guy. And then I've got another piece of 1 inch welded into this one, which this guy here will sit on top of, just like this. And then for the top, what I did is I welded a bolt to a little piece of flat steel onto a piece of the 1 inch tubing, which can slide right in the top here. And then for crossbars, what I used, this is a 3/4 inch electrical conduit, and all I did is pound one end kind of flat, drill a hole all the way through it, and it'll set right up on top of here, kind of like that. And if I've got two of them, then I can run a crossbar and suspend things from it. Fine, do that. Like this here. I've hung things to paint from here. I've hung up welding blankets so that if I'm shooting sparks in any general direction, I can keep that from catching stuff on fire. Little protection whenever I'm welding, stuff like that. What I originally built these for was we had a camper trailer that didn't have a bathroom. And so the wife really wanted a bathroom, so I made her one. And what I did is I had tarps that would stretch across these, and I could build 4 walls and or 3 walls and butt it up against the trailer. And it worked really awesome. But now we don't have that trailer anymore, so that's what these guys are up to now. So they're in here helping me out. The good about this thing is it's nice. It packs up real small, nice and tight. You can carry it anywhere. Bad news is it's really heavy. Using 1/8 inch steel may not have been the best choice, but that's what I happen to have, and it worked for me. So that's what I got going on. I'm going to stow that away underneath that bench there and finish up this little project. All right, now then the Fortress of Solitude is complete. I can get in there and work and be comfy, as well as keep the dust out of everywhere here. Let's take a look at what we're going to be working on today. If we take a look where I welded this floor pan to the toe board, some of my welds were pretty ugly, especially from this side, like I was welding from the inside. Anyway, there's a hole that I had a bolt in, and you can see the weld didn't get all the way through. So I've got to clean that up. I've got a bunch of these little nubbins, a bunch of bird shit in here. I'm going to grind off the bird shit and re-weld it, make it look pretty all the way down there, as well as along the pinch weld where the seat risers go in. There's a couple drill holes here that didn't get welded completely. See where I had self-tapping screws. Didn't weld all the way from the other side, so I'll clean those up, get this all cleaned up, ground down and re-welded, as well as back here where I don't know if you can see this. This is where I had to cut this trunk floor ear off and re-weld it on. I'm going to throw some weld on there as well. Just kind of clean this up, make it all look good. Grind down any of the bird shit and re-weld any of the spots that need welding. And now I'm in a comfortable space to do it, so let's get to it. All right, I'm getting these areas here all cleaned up. That's what it used to look like, all bird shitty and holy and gross, and that's what it's starting to look like now. Nice and smooth, welding it, grinding it down. Just got a couple more here, and then I can work on those guys. I'll do these up underneath here whenever I turn the car over and have good access to them from the other side. Yeah, just get them all welded up. Okay, I got all my holes welded up and ground down. It's looking real good everywhere along here. Now I'm going to work on this area right in here. This is an important area because this is where the subframe mount toe board, floor pan, and inner rocker, as well as this middle rocker piece. They all come together right in this corner. And if you remember about 2 years ago in episode 24, whenever I was patching the toe boards in, I had to cut this little piece here off. And so it's been hanging out, waiting to be welded back in for 2 years. So we're gonna get that all going, and I'll show you up top here how it's supposed to look. See, this is that toe board that comes down across here and blocks off the end of the rockers. And in here you can see the different layers. Here's that middle rocker support. There's the inner rocker. There's the floor pan. The toe board kind of wraps around in here. And then this is that subframe mount piece. So everything sandwiches together and welds up right there. And that's probably a pretty important structural part right there. So I want to get that welded up real nice right down in here, and then I can move along. Okay, I clamped it up real good here and drilled out those holes a little bit so that I get good penetration through all the different layers. I think I'm ready to weld her up now. Okay, I got this all welded up here. It's looking real good. I also welded this tab back on there. I'm gonna wait until it's in a better orientation for me to finish this up. I've got to drill it out for plug welds along this flange here, and then as well trim off some of the excess that I don't need, as well as weld up this hole right there. But I'll do that whenever it's up in that position, so it's easier to reach. For now, did that up. I also welded up this stuff over here. I'll grab my light. I'll show you what I did. Just up in here where I welded this trunk floor piece on here, I just went back over that and welded that up real nice and ground it down. It's looking pretty good. I think right there is where I'm going to end this video, because next I want to work on the hole in the rockers there. So I'm going to be rotating this thing over a little bit. But thanks for watching. Let me know if you think I'm screwing this thing up or not. Thanks.